2025 YZ450FX. We don't have it yet, but we have a YZ450FX, so the next best thing we are thinking. So we're gonna try this out. This is mainly gonna be a bike for Spencer that we're gonna be testing out. So we're gonna give you our thoughts on this bike. The 24 got a bunch of updates. 25 just got a few little updates. So this bike's all new. It's based off the motocross bike with lots of cool features. So the motocross version of this bike is a fire-breathing demon. You know, everybody complains about how it's almost too fast. The FX version has a detuned ECU, so it's a little bit easier to ride. On the FX model, the map switch actually switches to a less aggressive map in the blue button, which is the secondary map. On the motocross bike, both maps are the same. You have to load one if it's better or worse, whatever you want to try to do as far as power goes. We love the Yamaha suspension, so we're looking forward to trying it on this bike. Pretty happy with stock suspension on most Yamahas. We're always going to try to make it better, but as a starting point, the Yamahas are great with the stock suspension. Also, this bike has the Yamaha GYTR tuning tool, so which is nice. You can keep track of your maintenance, and you can also change maps around, which we'll be doing, especially as we change out a muffler or things like that. If you want to keep it from popping and farting, we're going to want to change maps, so we'll be doing some of that as well. Also in this bike, it has a 5-speed transmission, which is the same as the motocross bike, but it's a wide ratio transmission. It doesn't have 6 gear, but the 5th gear is supposed to be pretty high and kind of a connector gear. So we'll find out. We're also going to play with gearing after our initial testing. I've talked to some guys that I really trust. Trevor Hunter, good guy out west here who rides a lot of and races a lot of West Coast conditions. They go up to a 1452, which makes it a little bit easier to ride, especially off the bottom. Not as gnarly of a hit off the bottom. And it helps the suspension to work better with that larger front, which is most of the KTM bikes run a 14 front. So stock is 1350. We're probably going to try a 1452 very shortly. So we want to ride it stock first, and that's kind of our goal here. We want to ride it stock first. We just did some basics. We put heavy tubes in it because we didn't want to have any problems on our off-road desert trip tomorrow. And we're going to set sag and just kind of bars and levers and ride it. Okay, so we're going to report back after we ride it. Also, there's going to be multiple parts videos on this bike. We feel like we're going to be doing some throughout the rest of the spring, summer, into the fall. We'll be doing some more stories on this bike. A lot of Yamaha lovers out there, and I can understand as to why. So we're going to get some more time on it and let you know what we think. Okay, so you just came in after your first ride. What do you think?
It's awesome.
It's awesome. How'd I know you were going to say that? It's a 450. You're like happy.
Perfect.
Okay, so here we got this extra piece right here that the hot ticket is to take it off on both sides. You got that one over there. So we take them off, kind of these heavy stiffeners they have. We're supposed to run them without. We'll have to get some shorter bolts to go through. Here's a shot of where we took off the metal bracket. I made up these little spacers. These are exhaust spacers that are about that thick right there. What's that, like 5.5 millimeters range. These spacers right here. And that allowed me not to have to buy new bolts, which I could do. And we'll go show the other side. I put a washer and nut on the other side. We didn't do it back to back at the track riding, but it does feel like it made the bike more compliant and not as rigid. So right here you can see we do have some excess long bolt hanging out with just the washer and the nut. I think we'll probably invest in just buying the correct long bolts off the 450F, which are pretty inexpensive. So we do that. That's the only modifications we've done to the suspension. We kind of set the sag between Spencer and I, a little bit closer for him, probably around the 105 to 106 range for him. is kind of where we're at. So we set it in there. We didn't do any clickers, pretty happy with it. Spencer's found some maps he wants to mess with. One of the things he's learned is you got to keep hitting the starter button to keep this thing live and stay connected to the Wi-Fi.
But yeah, so it's super easy to just make a map. And one of the maps I made, let's do video map here. Boom. One of the maps I made, I just did this. I went all the way down here just because I was like, let's try it as smooth as I can get the bike. So that's one of them. So right here, I have smoothest map, and then I have Spencer map. So I have two that I made. So to send them to the bike, super easy. You just click on the Spencer map, right? And then there's the thing that points toward the bike. You press that, say send map, say yes, say okay. I'm gonna send it to 1, which is light off. Light off is 1, and light on is 2.
Oh, you can send it to either. I thought you could only send it to 2. Okay, so you can send it to either.
So it's sent, and then now I go back, and then I go to.
We're gonna get rid of 1 because
I go to smoothest map.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so go to smoothest map, and then I can hit send again, say send map, okay. And send to 2, because I sent the first one to 1. Then boom, it's connecting, making sure that we're good here, successful. Now, if I wanna check if those are for sure loaded in, I come here and hit receive map, I said, okay. And then which one do I wanna receive? I wanna receive 1. And then I say, oh, I just wanna check it, just check. So now I can see that, yes, this is the one I built out, and then this is the one I sent. So I can go back, and then I just close the screen. I just want to check it. And then I can check the other map by hitting receive map, map 2, just check. And then it'll pop it up right now. Boom, smoothest map.
Now tell me if you can get back to that green, to that number 1 map that was in its stock.
Yes, so well.
How do I go find those? And then the one that was in.
So stock no light is zeros on the FX.
Okay, how can we put that back in?
Okay. You could just hit new map, and then standard right there. Boom.
Standard. Okay.
And then when you go
find that one that was in blue, because blue was pretty good.
Zeros, and then the blue one is the one that comes loaded on.
It was hard
terrain for map 2. That comes loaded on to for the 450FX.
Hard terrain map 2.
And then if you get a F model, it comes with
back.
3 Yamaha maps. But the FX only comes with 1 Yamaha map.
Right. And I heard the F is not loaded in. They don't load them in stock on the F, only the FX.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool. And let's report tomorrow on
what maps were good.
Yeah, when we try it out.
Yep.
The first time connect, you'll need to get in here and get your number. Which number is it, Spence?
Yeah, the bottom 2. You'll need the bottom 2.
The serial number and the MAC number?
Yeah.
Okay. Not the part number is just the part number for the unit.
Yeah.
So those 2 numbers, which are right there. It was really easy to connect. Spencer got it right away. I've done it on the 250FX before, and it was pretty easy, even for an old lame guy. Blue Heart. So yeah, loving the Yamaha. We've already liked the 250FX, which we tested a while back.
Yep.
We have a video for that if you want to check that out. I've been saying for a long time that they should make a 350FX. But we had a great time. We've tested this over the last 3 days in a row on trails and some sandy tracks and different things. So we have a good feel for it. This is our first initial video, and I'm really impressed. What do you think?
I really am impressed.
So the only place that I think it's lagging right now is just that little grunt on the tight trails.
Yes.
Because first gear is too low. First gear is like almost unusable.
Pretty much.
So
you can take off in second from the truck.
From anywhere.
Anywhere.
Second gear. You just click it in second and you take off. You don't even need to take off in first. So we are going to change the gearing. We're going to do another video where we're going to change the gearing to a 1452. We mentioned that earlier. We didn't get to do it in time for this deal. So 1452, we're going to add a fan because I'm your #1 fan. Yes. And then we're going to test a hydraulic clutch. GYTR has a hydraulic clutch for this bike that bolts right on. Apparently, it's only the #3 that doesn't like the hydraulic clutch because he's pretty hard on clutches. And so we'll see how that goes. So we're going to test those things. Those are available from GYTR. The clutch setup is not that expensive. It's $300 for the whole top and bottom and line. So that's something we're going to check out.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so we're going to check that out and do the gearing. Will be our first steps. Probably an FMF muffler. It runs pretty good with the stock muffler. Not a lot of popping.
Not a lot of popping.
So the one thing we learned is Spencer spent a bunch of time just in a day or a day and a half,
Yeah.
maybe I guess 2 days-ish, with the tuning tool. And it's pretty impressive what you can do, right? That the older one, you couldn't do as much. This newer one, there's a lot you can do, and it's pretty easy. Rado's been doing it on the FX, 250FX, and he's pretty happy with how much differences he can do, and you can track your time, total time on the engine.
Yep.
And then you made some custom maps. Tell us about those.
There's a lot of freedom in the app to make whatever map you want, basically. And I went online, MXA, Kiefer, a couple other websites, and see what maps work for them. Not many people have maps for the FX.
Published, yes.
But a lot of people have F maps. And so what I would do is I would take some F maps from these various outlets and I would tune them down even a little bit more. Watched a couple of videos, one with Jamie in it, explaining what things do with the throttle position and the rev position. So all that stuff, there's videos out there you can watch, and we might do one eventually. But it was cool to see that the blue map that came in at stock is a more toned down, and that was good.
Very good.
Very good. And I think that's probably the best option for us stock is that.
I felt like that was my best one.
And then I loaded up 2 new ones.
Mm-hmm.
No Light was a little bit more aggressive than the blue stock map.
Yep.
And then blue map was my 350 map, let's call it.
Let's throw those on the screen.
Yeah,
some screenshots.
I'll put them on
Put
the
some
screen.
screenshots of those. Now,
what those look like.
I will say, so playing with it is actually pretty fun. I always kind of joked around with it because the older one wasn't as usable. So this one's pretty fun to tune with. I think where it's going to become a bigger issue is when you switch mufflers, because that's going to change the tuning a lot.
Exactly,
You get that popping and farting.
Mm-hmm.
And we hear guys at the track, and that's something that guys mention. So we'll want to try to fix that. So that's something we'll do in the future. We will do that in a new video if we put when we put an FMF on. If it pops and stuff, then we'll show what map
Figure out how to fix that.
Yes, exactly. So we'll be showing that in the future. So very impressed with the bike. I still wish it had 6th gear.
Yes, but you did a little test now of 5th gear.
5th gear's plenty fast.
It's pretty good.
But it's not as good as our XCF as far as that connector gear, where you can just lug it in 6.
Of course, right?
So I wish it had 6, like the 250 has 6.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Suspension's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
On our choppy tracks, as with anything, I would like to get it a little bit, do a little bit there, but the thing's so good stock. You can see why a lot of people really like these bikes. I'm really impressed with them. What are some other thoughts you had on the thing anywhere else?
Even ergonomics, I really like how these feel. I just feel like, and then I really like this flat profile compared to a lot of other bikes. A lot of other bikes are kind of going this way of having a very flat seat so that then I can get really forward on the bike when I'm doing these hard, as you can see in these hill tracks. These ruts are gnarly deep, and it really helps to get really forward on the bike. But like I'm literally sitting where the gas cap would be, right? So it's a great feeling bike ergonomically for some hard track riding. And then even on the trails, as you can see, it has plenty of room, and it's way narrower than the old Yamahas in the past. That was one of my big complaints in the past.
Yeah.
That the old Yamahas felt so wide from waist down, felt so wide. And so when I'm in the trail stuff, I really like a narrow feel. And so when I was going on some rock drop-offs and revving it up and then dumping it into a little splatter, I like how it feels with how narrow it is and not feeling like it's a big cumbersome bike.
How do you think it's going to do in the mountains this summer?
Great. And then depending on how good that hydraulic clutch is, I think it could be even better.
Yes. So we're going to test that out. Well, I'm curious to see. It's a Brembo Master, so I'm just curious to see which one it is when we get it. Because if it's a 9 or a 10, we've talked about that on some of our shows before. If it's a 350, 250 size, or a 450 size. So we'll see which pull it has.
Yes.
I hope it has a 9, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So that's what I'm hoping. I don't care for the grips. They are rock hard.
Rock hard.
Rock hard.
That's
So we'll be switching to some ODI, some IMIG V2 lock-on grips. So we'll have those. I'm probably going to change to the Champ Band bars, a little bit better position for us. These are a little narrow. In those
stock bars, better than a lot of other companies that have.
And I'm not sure how different they are than past Yamahas, but they do feel better than past Yamahas. So otherwise, it comes with an O-ring chain and a good skid plate, which is really cool. A lot of bikes don't even come with that. I do wish it had handguards stock. It should. They have them in the GYTR.
Yes.
We had them on our 250 FX that they got from the GYTR line, so from their intro. But other than that, really fun bike. I think if you're on the fence on one of these, I wouldn't be scared to get one. It's a good, it's a good bike for a guy that's looking to do off-road, some track stuff. I would have no problem riding this bike at, but you riding it at Glen Helen.
Glen Helen and any moto track, then going to some single track stuff. great.
And on the moto track, I would ride your we'll call it the dad map.
My 350 map.
350 map.
Our Yamaha 350 map, but
it felt even slower than in a 350 in some ways.
if it did feel slower than a 350,
It's crazy how much of a difference you can make with that tuning tool to detune it in a way.
Yes.
Also, guys, I get a lot of guys commenting that they're scared to use the tuning tool. Like they're afraid they're going to mess something up. You're not going to mess anything up. They won't let you.
Yes.
They're not going to let you go past certain parameters. You're not going to blow the thing up because of the tuning tool. So don't be afraid of that. You might do it, you might blow it up for some other reason, but you're not going to blow it up because of the tuning
Because
tool.
of what they won't let the bike run or do things if it's too bad. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. Good job. So good job. Thank you, Ratto, for your help.
Yep.
And hopefully you guys enjoy our video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time on the track or trail.
See ya.